running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Okay, it is Coffee Ann here on ONAM and FM. Thanks for joining us on Thursday morning. It is November 16th. My name is Joe Callahan, and that's Bob Lotter right over there. Hi, Bob.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
We're 1 week from Thanksgiving.
Yes, and I saw on the front page of the Call Times, they had a question to the public about Bill Belichick and some guy
Mac
who's...
Jones.
Matt Jones. Okay.
He's the quarterback. Who's responsible?
Man, they didn't ask me, so my picture's not there. Probably because I would have said I'll have to defer to Joe.
I don't know.
Oh, no, I'm not going to say that.
But
I'm just going to say I defer to Joe. He knows everything.
I think the four people that they asked, were very diplomatic about it. One said Mac Jones, one said Bill Belichick, and the other two said it's a combination of both.
Well, the only thing I feel kind of sad about is Belichick had such a great career.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about firing him. That's a terrible way to leave
I know.
a position.
But it's sports too as well. Will he be fired? Probably not.
Okay.
Will he get one more year? Maybe. Will he just decide to step down? That's another possibility.
Okay. Well, that's
But it's
more agreeable than being fired.
It's not something that'll happen this year. If it was going to happen this year, it would have already happened. So
Okay.
we're gonna finish out the year, and then they'll go from there.
Do you have any feelings as to who may be responsible?
Oh, so it's the quarterback.
Oh, okay.
I've already made my feelings known that the quarterback we have is, while he's okay, he's not an NFL caliber quarterback. He's not up here.
All right.
He's down here, and he's not elevating himself, and that happens.
No.
Some people are great in high school, and they're so great in high school they get recruited by the top colleges, like he was, and he went to a top tier college, Auburn or Alabama, one of those huge football school, and he did great, and he really elevated there. But the jump from college to pros in any sport can be difficult for some people, and I can't get to the next level. My talent is not as good as somebody else's.
Now, Robert Kraft must have loads and loads of money. Can he lure a quarterback from another team that's going to be replacing him?
Well, that's not his job, but that's someone else's job to try to go trade or try to get someone to come here. Yes, they can. But will they? I don't know. People are stuck in their contracts and can't leave where they are, kind of thing. And you're always looking for the younger guys that are in college trying to come up, and it's always a gamble. Will you be great in the NFL? And you never know. You just never know.
Well,
So
Tom Brady has a son. I mean, I realize he's
he's
probably in
kinda
kindergarten, but can they wait that long?
that's too long to wait.
Oh.
But since it's the week before Thanksgiving, we do this every year. How to make Bob smart when he's talking to his family
Yes,
at
please.
Thanksgiving. So take notes. Here we
I
go.
have a pad and a pen.
It's usually I give Bob 3 sentences to say
Yep.
that will impress his family that Bob knows what he's talking about when it
Great.
comes,
I'm
to the
ready.
Patriots. So here are the 3 for this year. Number 1,
Yes.
the defense is playing really well.
Defense playing well.
Really
Okay.
well.
All right.
Even though overall the team is not good, the defense is playing very well.
Defense playing well. Good.
It's number 2.
Yes.
Zeke should be given the ball more often. And if you say the name Zeke, people will even think you know what you're talking about. It's a nickname of another player.
Okay.
And they're just not handing the ball off to him. So you should
All
say
right.
that Zeke should get the ball more often.
Mm-hmm.
And number 3, the offensive line is just not that good to protect the quarterback.
Not good to protect quarterback.
Yeah. So
Okay.
use those 3, okay? And people say, Bob knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, but there's always that brother-in-law who's going to say something
Yeah,
like,
I'll come back
can
with
you
a question."
explain that?
No, and then you say, I think what I said speaks for itself.
Damn, you're good. Whoa.
I got nothing to add what I just said.
And nobody asked me who the heck Zeke is.
No, if you say Zeke, they're going to assume you know that this man his real name is Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay.
But if you just his nickname is Zeke, if you use the word Zeke, they'll just think you already know what his real name is, and if they don't know who his real name is, then you can say, well, I guess you're not a real fan.
In 2 weeks, I can report back to you on how well this went.
Ah, that's great. All right,
Thank you for looking out for me and making
always, Bob. 'Cause I don't want
my
you to,
Thanksgiving not as humbling as it could be.
I just don't. I don't want you sitting there with your family members and them, say, well, don't ask Bob. He doesn't know what's going on. So,
I'll just have to work this into the conversation.
okay, yeah, don't use it all right away. Spread it out over an hour or two.
Okay.
All right.
Good. Good.
Well, they say pass the pass the drumstick, and my gosh, that offensive line is not good.
Good. Good.
All right. Here's it's kind of a law question for you, Bob, because we had the story today. The Rhode Island Parole Board has, for the third time, denied a convicted murderer his freedom. Robert Jewett pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and sexual assault in the 1990 death of 17-year-old Kimberly Rock. Jewett is now 52, and he made his third attempt at parole before the state board. He'll be again eligible for parole in November 2026. So, who makes up the parole board, first of all?
Well, I can't tell you who is on it right now.
Not specific names. Is it
Right.
just people within the judicial system?
The only person I ever knew who was on the parole board, and this goes back 40 years, was she's now a family court judge, Judge Mactaz. And at the time, she was a attorney who was working in the same firm that I was working at Levine and Sutherland here in Woonsocket. And she was appointed by the governor at the time. I have no idea what makes up the board. I would imagine it is people of a similar category who have some legal knowledge, and she had a great deal of legal knowledge at the time. So it may be other people who are lawyers. It may be people who are involved in mental health issues, because I imagine a lot of the people who come before the parole board have experienced mental health issues at some time. But
Okay.
I can get a better answer for you, but that's the best I can tell you.
I got a few more questions, and you may or may not know the answers. Is how many are on the parole board? Is this a three? Is it 3? Is it 5? Is it 7?
Zeke should give the ball more often.
You're absolutely right. Okay. So I did wondering who is on the parole board and how many are there, and now it says, I guess prisoners can. It's an unlimited number of times they can come up for parole.
I believe so, but I have nothing to do. Never had anything to do with the parole board.
Okay.
So I can't really tell you answers on this.
This guy Jewett, he's not going to be eligible for parole until November of 2026. So are they always on a 3-year cycle where you've been denied now? Okay, we wait another 3 years and we'll see how things go then.
I'm going to feel a lot more comfortable talking with my brother-in-law about football,
because
you've given me 3 good answers. I mean,
3 good questions. All right, because I think about this, and it immediately always goes to me, to Sirhan Sirhan, who assassinated Robert Kennedy,
right?
And he always seems to be coming up for parole, and he's always getting denied.
Well, that's in California,
well,
so
right.
they may have different rules.
A little different out there,
right?
Okay. They may go every 2 years or something like that.
Let's go back to football, where I can explain my ignorance as opposed to being exposed to it right now.
Well, I know you don't deal with the criminal side, and I just didn't know if you had anything knowledge about how the parole board works. Obviously, you've never been on it.
No, I've never.
don't.
And I've never had a client who was in that situation. I really don't know.
Well, that's good. I wonder, is this? How do you get on the parole board? Is this something that's appointed, or you're certainly not elected to it?
No,
you never see that. So who appoints people to be on the parole board? Supreme Court? The governor?
Man,
I mean, the Rhode Island Supreme Court.
I have no idea.
Okay. Let me ask you a few more questions you don't know.
Oh, good, good. I
But
can't believe I'm on this program.
No.
You helped me out right at the start with some really good stuff
Yeah,
across the table.
and then it was right downhill from there, huh?
Oh man, it's like on a toboggan heading for the cliff.
There's a tree coming. We should turn.
Yeah, but you didn't give me any ropes to pull it. Okay.
I know. But is it an automatic? You hear about people, especially for murder cases, no possibility of parole.
Correct.
So they never come up before the parole board.
I would believe so.
So it would be others with still serious crimes, but lesser than the murder charge.
Well, the murder charge where it says no chance of parole, that's something which the judge imposes at the time of sentence.
Right.
You can be convicted of murder and not have that kind of a caveat attached to your sentence, yes.
Okay. Maybe you don't know the answer to this, but
Probably
let's
not.
say I'm the victim's family. Do I get notified that the person that was convicted of my family's murder is coming up for parole?
There-
and then do I get to go to
There's
the
a
hearings?
public notice that's published in the newspaper that identifies all of the prisoners who are coming up for consideration for parole. It includes their name and their date of birth. So if you read the fine print in the newspaper, you would see it. I don't know if
So
there's
it's up to me to go find this information.
I can't tell you that
No?
one either.
All right. Well, okay. Well,
Boy, I can hardly wait for Sue to show up this morning. I need somebody here who's going to be able to bail me out and smile and be nice about
all right,
it.
here's another question because Bob deals with divorce and things like that. Have you ever seen a case where the petitioners go up before a judge that wants a divorce and the judge says no? I will not grant a divorce to this couple. How about that?
I have never seen that.
Okay.
However, the
Is it
grounds for
possible?
the grounds for divorce nowadays are a lot different from what they were when I
Yeah.
started 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's the irreconcilable differences complaint, and that is pretty much going to happen. When I first started practicing many years ago, before that was there, Sue, thank goodness you're here. I'll tell you in a minute how I've been beaten down into the ground by this guy with. Oh, this guy has a canoe paddle. He's just been hitting me over the head with it all morning.
Well, if it was sports related, I can
It wasn't.
understand.
It was law related.
Law related.
Jesus.
Yeah. He did provide me with 3 good phrases to use at Thanksgiving table, though. It's going to make me seem like a real savant when it comes to football.
But anyway, back to divorce.
Back to divorce. 50 years ago, we didn't have irreconcilable differences. You had cruel and unusual punishment.
Right.
You had extreme cruelty. And I recall back in the old days, to show extreme cruelty, you were in situations of trying to show that the spouse had in some way made you feel uncomfortable. We had cases where extreme cruelty was evidenced by the fact that you started biting your fingernails because you were so upset about the conduct of your spouse. Those were ridiculous cases,
yeah.
but we didn't have the option at that time of saying that it was just irreconcilable differences, which we have now.
Okay.
I have not seen a divorce denied.
Denied, okay.
Although I believe there was one that went to the state Supreme Court probably about 12 to 15 years ago, which involved 2 women who were married. And if I recall correctly, the family court justice in that case had denied the divorce, and it went to the Supreme Court, which said, yes, the divorce could take place.
Okay.
I can find the answer for you on that one.
All right. Well, no rush.
Are we glad to see Sue?
Sue
Thank
Tessier
you.
McKenzie is here. Hi, Sue.
Good morning.
So I was hitting Bob with a lot of questions about because Robert Jewett was denied parole. Yeah, he was convicted of murder back in 1990. And they come up for parole every it looks like every 3 years. So I was just hitting Bob with questions like, who's on the parole board? How many people are on the parole board? Who appoints people to the
Right,
parole board?
right.
You know, who decides whether or not? Well, judges decide. I guess,
Wait.
Who can get parole? So I was just has Bob? He could answer yes to this one.
You're,
oh, no.
you're joining him. You're ganging up on me too.
No,
Oh,
no.
no,
He's-
no.
I'm
he's
going
just-
home.
She's just
No.
agreeing with my questions
Right, right, because those are
because you don't have the answers either.
exactly.
And
Those
Bob
are
has never
those
been
are good
asked
questions.
to be on the parole board, so he just doesn't, and neither have I. So I don't know if they take just people, your lay folk. Would they go just with lawyers that should be on the parole board?
Right,
So we just don't know.
Well,
and it should be a combination of. If
Well, he was thinking
anything.
lawyers, mental health people.
Yeah.
should be
Mental
on
health,
it.
definitely.
And how many should be there? Should it be 3? Should it be 5? Should it be 7?
Right.
So
I've written down
sure.
the
if you
issue.
can- okay, if you can find this all out, that would be fantastic.
Great.
But every year I help Bob out on the week before Thanksgiving.
Yes.
because he has to get together with his family.
Oh, and you have to have
he's-
family talk, sports
So he's,
talk.
they're going to talk sports. So I always give him 3 sentences to use that will make him look like he knows what he's talking about. Bob, what are the 3 sentences? Tell it to Sue.
The defense is playing really well. Zeke should be given the ball more often. Offensive line is not as good at protecting the quarterback. And Joe Callahan knows everything.
There you go.
Leave out that last one.
Well,
But
you
if he uses those three sentences, he'll
You're
know
good.
he knows what he's talking
As
about.
long as they don't improvise on the statement you make.
But he asked that question. What if they say, or they give a follow-up, and what do you say to that, Bob?
Hey, my statement covers it all.
There you go.
There
I've
you
got
go.
nothing else to say about
When
that.
I was in the limo business, and we had a lot of men clients that traveled for business,
Yeah.
and they inevitably wanted to be able to talk sports, like
Yeah.
especially on Monday mornings. Many of them went out on Monday mornings, and I made a point of not watching the game because I have other things to do, but getting the highlights.
Yeah, there you
watching
go.
the highlights of the game. So, and I remember one customer in particular was from North Attleboro. His name was Bill, and he'd get in the car first thing Monday morning, and sure enough, we got into the game, and I was able to say, I still cannot believe that play.
There you go. That's perfect.
I
Did you
still
see-
cannot believe
did you
that
see
play.
that touchdown?
I watched just the important points, so at least I looked like I knew what I was talking about.
Don't use that, Bob. It's too generic.
Yes.
Because if you say that, how about that play? They'll say, what play are you talking about,
Right,
Bob?
because there could have been a good play or a bad play.
That's
so
right.
you need to know which play you're referencing.
That's right. So leave that one out.
Okay, if I
It's too-
follow
it's-
up with the
it's
importance
too-
of being earnest or something like
Yeah.
that, that's
No.
not, Okay.
No.
That's
Lady
like-
Windermere's fan isn't going to do it.
No.
No.
Darn.
Because right now there are plays that can be good, and then there are many plays that are bad. And you get
Yeah.
that they can be good and that they're bad.
Okay.
So it's too generic
So
of a statement.
don't use that one.
You
unless-
need to know what the play
Yeah,
was.
that one's too vague.
Yes.
Okay.
Have you ever seen the movie The Birdcage with Robin Williams and Nathan Lane?
Yes.
Yes.
Portraying the gay couple.
Yeah.
And Robin Williams going to teach him how to be a guy and talk about football. What do you think of that Dolphins game? Oh, what do you think? I'm bewildered. I'm bewildered's great.
That's why don't
is
you
such
go
a funny
why don't
movie.
you go watch that a little bit and get a
feeling of
little
what not
sense
to
of
say.
perspective.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Coffee and More's coming your way. We ask you to please stick around. We got a note to get to as well.
Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
Have you heard of Scott McGee with Remax Properties? He's been selling real estate in Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the last 17 years, and you can see that he loves what he does. Scott, as well as his team, take pride in what they call the fair and honest team. No gimmicks. And no, they're not buying your house if it doesn't sell, etc. Just fair and honest real estate. Scott personally works with tons of sellers and buyers and specializes in residential properties as well as commercial, and he's always very fair and offers super competitive rates. Remember, this is probably the biggest move in dollars that you will ever spend or receive. You want to go with a trusted and experienced agent. Scott is fair, honest, and modest, always puts the clients first. And he also dealt with literally almost any situation. You really need to look at your real estate needs as a business. You want to pay and get the right money now so that you're not paying for it later. Trust me. So why not give Scott McGee a call at 401-639-2906. That's 401-639-2906.
All right, it's Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Bob Lauder, Sue Tessier McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley Call-in Times, and Sue, time for your first message from the newspaper. So what's going on there?
Just put me right on the spot,
Right on the
as a
spot.
police officer's walking in.
Well, he's not taking you away, so.
Well, sometimes that might not be a bad thing.
I walk out and do that, you have to worry.
Anyway, so far so good with the call and the Times combined. If anybody has any issues, please reach out to me, 401-487-4136. If you do have an issue and you reach out to me, I may not be able to solve it, but I would be more than happy to direct you to the person that could. If you need back issues of the paper, call me. I can have them put away. They are currently being delivered to our Southern Rhode Island newspapers, but I can definitely get you copies. So you can call my cell, 487-4136. If you're looking for any holiday advertising, again, call me, 487-4136.
Very good, Sue. Thank you very much. And joining us from the Woonsocket Police Department, this is Captain John Picard. Did I say
Hi,
that right?
Good morning. Yes, you did. You
All
said
right,
it right.
very good. And we're going to talk about the toy drive that the police department is doing in just a second. I want to get to the note that was called in, talking about sports. My prediction, according to this person that called in, is that Bill Belichick, unless the Patriots finish strongly, will resign at the end of the season. I will be shocked if he gets fired.
Okay.
All right, so there we go. So we're moving back on.
I would hope they give him the dignity of resigning instead of being fired.
I would hope so. The Dolphins did that with Don Shula. It was time for him to step down, and he just retired. Not really resigned, but just retired. I'm just done coaching. So it
Whispering
does
into his ear as opposed to putting out publicly is a lot better.
yes. All right. So, Captain, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
What do you think about the Belichick and the?
Oh, I'm going to hold my comments.
Well, comment on that. He's taking the fifth. All right.
Wait, you didn't give him the three answers. Maybe he's
The three
no.
answers?
There's
The
nobody as
three
clueless as me.
statements. All right, so first and foremost, those weren't questions.
No, they're
Those
just
weren't
statements.
answers. They're
Right.
just statements. Telling this to a lawyer, mind you.
All right. So the toy drive. It's coming up now, real quick. And how long has the police department been running this toy drive?
Probably about 20 years now.
Wow. Okay.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a very beneficial.
What is the toy drive?
So it started probably in the early 2000s, where the police department would collect toys and we would just simply hand them out to children in need in the city. And it's evolved over the past 20 years to what it is now, and that is a real collaborative effort with the Knights of Columbus, Council 113, in the family of the late Ron Ogier. And Ron was a dispatcher with us for many, many years. Passed away at a young age in 2009. And since then, the three organizations have kind of come together and sponsored this. We collect toys and then pass
All
them on.
kinds, all age groups.
Well, we cap it at age 12. So children
okay, so
12
something younger.
years and under.
Yeah.
And we collect toys. We have a couple of big events that we do. One is right after Thanksgiving at St. Joe's St. Joe's Parish. Big difference there.
Yeah.
At Cass and Mendon. And that is, I want to say the 26th. Let me check my dates right here.
That's the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
I'm sorry, so that'll be the 25th, November 25th.
Okay.
From 10 to 2 p.m., we ask people to bring in new unwrapped toys for children up to age 12. We found that we've had a little bit of problems getting toys in, say, the 9 to 12-year-old age group. So if your listeners would like to concentrate on that, that would be wonderful.
People have been concentrating on the smaller dolls and things like that.
It is. It's a lot of the younger children. And we take, it's not only toys and action figures. There are puzzles. There are games. There's anything you could find at your local retail shop that, we'd be happy to get. The second event is the actual Ogier's family event. And that's going to be held on December 10th from 4 to 7 p.m. at their home at 329 Wood Avenue. And we're out there on the sidewalk with our police cars and the family and the Knights and collecting toys. That could be a drive-by event. If people don't want to stop, they could just hand the toys out the window. We'd be happy to accept them.
Is this one of those events where you say, let's fill the police car with toys?
We do. We fill the truck a few times
All
over
right,
last
great.
year, so we did very well. And of course, we take them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at the Woonsocket Police Department too. Someone can just walk in and drop it off.
How does a child become eligible for toys?
So this year, we've done a little change. In the past years, we've set up a hotline where parents could just call up and leave their name, their phone number, the ages of their children. We'd get back to them. This year, we have an actual application, where the parents would fill it out. We're requiring proof of residency this year because we want to make sure that we're concentrating on Woonsocket children. And that proof of residency could just be a driver's license, a photo ID, or even some type of bill lease if they just moved into the city.
Who does the distribution?
All three.
Okay.
The Knights of Columbus, the police department, and the Ogier family. And that's held, I want to say it's the 16th this year up at St. Joe's Parish, Cassamendon. And the families, when they fill out the applications, they have all of that information on it.
Must be tough finding a 12-year-old with a driver's license or who signed a lease. But
Mom and Dad have to.
Oh, okay.
We're trusting that the children live in the city as well. Yeah, and they'll pick up the toys there. But the event that we have at St. Joe's right after Thanksgiving is far more than just a toy drop-off. It's a bazaar. There are raffles there. There's food. It's great to have people just show up and spend a little time in there. We have the Woonsocket Police Explorers who help us out. They're a volunteer group. And as we get to the distribution day, we'll have these kids that are, probably in their early teens, fill the bags of toys for the specific families. Most of them have siblings that are that age too, so it makes it pretty easy for them to, pick out toys that an 8-year-old girl may like or a 5-year-old boy would like.
it's been a long time since I bought any toys. My daughter's 34. But back in the old days, there used to be big places like Toys R Us. Where can you go and buy children's toys now?
Walmart,
Oh, all right.
Walmart,
Okay.
Target,
Kohl's has a small toy.
Kohl's,
Okay.
J.C. Penney, they
but it-
all have.
But this is the time that you miss Benny's.
Right.
Benny's had a
I miss Benny's
great-
a lot of the time.
Benny's had a great toy selection, and their prices were always $5 cheaper
Yeah,
than
and I
everybody
think,
else, and it was the same toy.
but that's, I think, part of the problem because I always have to look. Like I know full well if I buy this at Kohl, I'm just going to say Kohl's,
All right.
or if I go to Walmart, it's the same thing, but it's cheaper. And that may be part of the problem why the older kids, you're having trouble getting toys for them because it's really not toys anymore. You're looking for
Footballs,
right.
sporting
but
equipment,
and
things
that's
like that.
those are all affordable. But when, like you said, you cap it at 12, past 12 is where it gets a little tough, financially to find, inexpensive things.
Well, that's it. Now they want their Xbox and their
Yeah,
PS5,
that's what I
and
think. That's
it's-
what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
over 12 is where the
Yeah.
problem comes in. Not under 12. Over 12, I think it gets difficult.
I would hope at 12 years old they'd kind of understand Christmas and toys.
Right, and you
These are-
get like you say, the footballs. There are so many creative, and I can't think of the name, but they're creative where you can build things, and so it doesn't need to be labeled as a toy. It's creative. They can make jewelry, or they can make whatever. So those things are
Precisely.
great type of gifts.
puzzles, board games,
Yeah.
books, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the application this year, we're asking parents for something what the children may like,
An idea, yeah.
an interest, what they're interested in, and we're seeing a lot of books and things like
Yeah.
that. So whatever anyone would love to donate, we would be happy to accept.
When it comes to I'm thinking board games, you can never go wrong with Monopoly. You can't go wrong
Right.
with Clue. You can't go wrong with Connect Four. That makes you think.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Do kids still play checkers anymore? Checkers, chess.
So, yeah, you're on leagues, but like I said, that age group up to 12 is a perfect age group to be able to target. It's over that it gets tough. That's what I'm saying. It's over that.
Yeah.
That's where the Xboxes come in.
That's right. And they're not cheap.
No.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program. More is coming your way. Time for a look at the forecast, which is being sponsored by, let's see, that would be the Positive Coaching Alliance.
Sunny skies today with a high of 61 degrees and a breeze from the west. Tonight, mostly clear, overnight low of 40, calm wind. Friday's weather, partly sunny with a high of 64 and a wind from the south increasing all day. Saturday showers are 70% likely, mainly before 1 p.m., mostly cloudy, 57. Sunday, sunny and 48. Monday, sunny and 42. Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 46. And on Wednesday, a 70% chance of rain and windy, too. Partial sunshine and a high of 55.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue, Kennedy Street, sunny skies with 46 degrees. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor, an elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own at unbound.org. Okay, Sue, time to put you back on the spot, because it is time for a second message from the Blackstone Valley. Times.
I don't plan my messages.
I know.
Okay.
That's great.
So
You don't come in with notes like Bob.
I don't. Bob has a notebook, his pen, his typed out stuff.
he's a
I, on
liar.
the other hand, just wing it. Basically, we have just deadlined one of our big programs for the community, which is a food basket campaign. And our advertisers, our sponsors, I should say, are sponsoring a family of 4 to 5 people a meal for Thanksgiving and again for Christmas. And we, in conjunction with Little General, take care of all of that. So I just wanted to thank any of the advertising sponsors that are listening. In addition to that, I cannot emphasize enough, if there is anything you need, please call me on my cell phone and I will direct you to the person you need to speak to. It's 487-4136. There is no date for when we will be back in the office working. Construction is going, so I can't even say, yeah, we'll be in first of the year. We don't know yet.
You got to hurry those guys up.
Yeah, we just don't know yet.
No.
But I am always reachable, 487-4136.
All right, thanks, Sue. More Coffee and coming up. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Kathleen LaValle at The Honey Shop. Check out our Facebook page at The Honey Shop RI, and there you'll see a whole list of our new classes and lots of fun things to do. You could join us for making limoncello, pizzas, pasta making, cheese making, so many fun things to do and learn.
Thanks, Kathy. Folks, if you love food, you'll love the Honey Shop, right behind the Dunkin' Donuts at Park Square in Woonsocket. For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hi, this is Gary Smith. Join me for Do You Remember, Tuesday through Friday mornings at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
It is Coffee and on ON. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan. We're here with Captain John Picard from the Woonsocket Police Department, talking about the toy drive that the police department is taking part in, as they do every year. Sue Tessier-McKenzie's here, and Bob Lauder. And Bob, time for a first message from your law office, please.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. I'd like to talk with you this morning about 2 recent Rhode Island Supreme Court cases. The first case involves a subject matter which the Supreme Court acknowledged is of much debate and controversy among legal scholars and mental health professionals. And that is the desire of one parent to permanently move a child to another state, away from the other parent. The most recent case is known as Dawson versus Odeja. Although the father and mother were never married, the family court had entered an order temporarily awarding custody and physical placement of the child to the mother, with the father granted supervised visitation at the mother's home. Several months later, the mother filed a motion seeking to relocate to Massachusetts, and the father objected. The family court granted the mother's motion, and the father appealed to the Supreme Court. The Rhode Island Supreme Court ruled that relocation underscores the often irreconcilable tension that develops when parents no longer reside together in a single family unit. To the extent that it can be said that one parent exercises more responsibilities than the other, the general stability, well-being, and happiness of the parent's family unit will have a direct bearing on the child's well-being. Conversely, the court has observed that a child's opportunity to maintain a meaningful relationship with the other parent, no matter how diminished that parent's role may be, will undoubtedly have some impact on the child's best interest. The court established 7 elements to be considered between the parents, and they went on to divide an 8th element. That was a comparison of 1, the wishes of the child's parents regarding the child's custody; 2, the reasonable preference of the child. 3, the interaction of the child with the parent. 4, the child's adjustment to the home, school, and community. 5, the mental and physical health of all the individuals involved. 6, the stability of the child's home environment. And 7, the moral fitness of the child's parents. And 8, the willingness and ability of each parent to facilitate a close and continuous parent-child relationship between the child and the other parent. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please call my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob, thanks. We did get a note that was called in, 766-1240, just reminding us that you can buy toys at Ollie's Bargain Outlet up on Diamond Hill Road, and probably more than likely at Ocean State Job Lot.
Great.
Also has a section of toys, especially for young kids, toys, the 12 and under crowd. They can be picked up there as well. So
Thank you for pointing out some places that are known nowadays.
That's right. All right, Captain John Picard from the Woonsocket Police Department, head of the toy drive from the police department's standpoint. What are the deadlines that if people are looking to get something for their kids? What are the deadlines, and where do they get applications?
We're accepting applications up until December 1st. The applications can be found on the Woonsocket Police Department website. There's a link right there that'll bring you to the application. Fill it out. They have to be turned in person at the police station, and we'll process them from there.
Okay, very good. And how long have you been the liaison, I guess, at the police department for the toy drive?
This will be my 4th year.
Okay, and every year, is there a request for more toys?
There is. We're probably up to 75 applications so far, and we have another 2 weeks to go.
Yeah.
Typically, we serve 100 families, maybe 250 to 300 children.
Wow.
So it's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yes, and they all get a few toys.
Yeah.
So it's the generosity of the residents that really make this possible.
Do you see an influx of applications after Thanksgiving?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
The holiday season kind of
Has
gears
started,
up, and
and-
and people start bringing things into the station and the other events. So we just want everyone to come on out and give us a hand. It's a good time.
All right.
I noticed you
Go ahead,
have
Bob.
not only your shield, but you have service badges above it. What are those for?
Merit
Oh.
over the years, from being involved in different things to good conduct, in years of service as well.
Looks good.
Thank you. The beard too. That's another fundraiser. No
Oh,
Shave
the
November.
No Shave November. You're
Yes,
part of that.
So we do.
What
No
is what is
Shave.
that? What does that money go towards?
It's going to be a local charity. It has to be.
Okay.
We do it for a local charity. I don't think it's been determined yet.
Yeah.
But we do it a donation in November, and if you want to double your donation, you can keep the beard or facial hair into December. So it's again a lot of fun.
How many
It's-
officers are doing it this year?
Most of the department.
That's 'cause-
I'd probably say 85% of it.
Because
of the
what it
department
comes
do it.
down to is you're being lazy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I don't have to shave
Well-
the entire month. Woohoo!
You also have to keep it trimmed, and maybe your spouse, a significant other, has
You
an
have to keep
opinion
it trim
about
and
this.
neat?
Yes.
Oh, all right. All right.
You have to- my wife loves it. I'm not a fan of it. My wife loves it.
Oh, really?
So
Well, great.
I kind of go along.
But
with
not everybody can grow a proper
Symmetrical.
That's
be-
correct.
beard.
right.
That's right.
A
Some
proper
looks-
beard. Do you have any of those guys?
it. We do. We have a few.
And you hammer 'em?
It looks horrible. I gotta say. But, for the majority of them, it comes in okay.
Okay.
Right,
It
right.
looks all right, but
That's good camaraderie if you.
it is. It's fun, See the guy who can't grow a beard.
That's right. It's,
Yeah.
well, some of us have hit puberty, except for Stan.
Okay.
All right. Well, Captain Picard, maybe you know the answer because we were asking Bob earlier because
Oh, no.
about what do you know about the parole board here in the state? Anything?
Just what I read in the paper and see in the news.
Oh, okay. So you
like I
have
said,
you have no inner workings of it because we have the convicted
don't.
murderer that was denied parole. So we were just wondering who's on the parole board. How do you get on the parole board? How many people are on the parole board? And who puts them there? That kind of thing.
my understanding they were appointments.
By who?
I would say the governor's office is what I thought. I read that was
Okay.
a horrific case that just came up a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
where he's denied parole. I didn't remember that. It was in East Providence case, I believe.
Jewett? We talking about the same guy?
Yes.
Yeah, it is East Providence.
Yeah, that was horrific. Horrific
Sue is
crime.
Terrible
Googling
murder
the
in
answer.
1990. Yeah, Sue's Googling the answer.
Yeah, she's going to come up with
Yes, I
everything in
am.
a minute.
All right. Well, that's
Newspapers, you know, they go out and try and find answers to stuff.
Track down the story,
Yeah.
and that's right. Okay. We had a story in today's call about an incident where a mother was arrested for allegedly biting her 1-year-old child after they were brought to the hospital, and of course the doctors and nurses, taking a look at the 1-year-old's welts and stuff, and now according to the news story by Russ Olivo, she said, "Oh no, this must have happened at the daycare center." And I said, "Well, okay, now my daughter went to daycare center and she got bit at daycare, but it's kids bite at the daycare center, not the adults, and you can
Right.
tell by the size of the bite." And so this is no child's bite on the other child. This is an adult bite. So
Wow.
it's
I can't speak to the specifics of the
I know you
case,
can't. That's right, 'cause
but
they
there's a
just
lot
were
more
arrested.
evidence behind.
I'm sure there
that
is.
than-
But when she said, in the paper, she said, "Oh, well, go blame the daycare center," I said, "Ooh, that's a weak excuse."
There was that unfortunate case that came up in the Providence area where a young child was scalded with hot water.
The hot water by the
Yes,
by the mom and the aunt
Allegedly, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. All right, Sue put her hand up, so she's got
an answer.
She's got answers for us. What do you
Okay,
find?
now I'm
Sue?
reading this without my glasses, so bear with me. The Rhode Island Parole Board is made up of 1 full-time chairperson and 6 part-time members.
Okay.
Parole Board members are appointed by and report to the governor and may be reappointed. 4 of the members must meet the following qualifications: member of law enforcement, psychiatrist, psychologist, experience in social work, corrections, and attorney in good standing. So everything that we had discussed
It's true.
somewhat off air
Yeah.
is
So what about the other 2? Then are they
that
just
it
are they
does not
just lay
say.
people?
They could be lay people. All this says
All
is
right.
these are 4
4
of them
out
have
of
to
the
meet
7.
this criteria.
Okay. One's full time, one is 6 are part time. Does it say how long you're appointed for?
No, that's what I'm following through with questions here, and I'm not seeing.
This is why the call times is so good.
That's
they
right.
get
They
the
come
answers
up-
right away for you.
And what's the pay for the full time? I might go for this job.
You might need to have a letter of recommendation.
I'll get that from you,
And
Bob.
I don't see any of the 3 of us pulling out our pens right now.
Well, you'll never know. So, all right. Anything yet, Sue?
Yeah, all it says here now in the 4 statements that I just
Yeah.
said, then there are 2 because it lists the name of some of these people, and it says right below them: attorney, psychologist,
Yeah.
law enforcement, and social work. Those are the 4 people, and then 2 other people that are there, and all it says is member. So it sounds like lay people.
Okay. You were just something they want to do.
If you want to send in your application, tell the governor you'd like to have a closer relationship with prison. I think that there'll be at least
That's what
one
I
of us.
want.
You're right, me too.
Well, all right. And I got the governor's email, so I'll have to shoot him something there.
Good, good.
Overall, Captain Picard, just in terms of crime in the city of Woonsocket, are we right where we normally are? Are things a little less, a little more? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
I think it remains constant. There are ebbs and flows, just as there are in every city and town.
Yep.
But so far, things are pretty good.
pretty quiet.
So far.
Well, okay. Do things pick up when the seasons change over to winter? Things get colder. I know people. We talk about fireplaces and space heaters, and fires start. And I know when 911 calls, the police show up as well. So are you seeing more of those calls coming in now?
Well, there certainly would be as people try to heat their houses with alternate heat sources. But as far as crime, the one thing I've learned over these years is it's relatively unpredictable. It's, it's up and down. I don't know that summer creates more problems than winter. At this time of the year, we ask people just to remember, lock your doors, your car doors, things like that. Don't leave valuables in plain sight. A lot of common sense things go a long way where people will be walking down the street. These are just targets of opportunity.
Yeah.
You find a pocketbook left in a car and they steal it with the doors unlocked, or even worse, now we're seeing a lot of keys left in the car with these key fobs.
Yes.
People will leave a fob in their
the
glove
car.
compartment so they don't have to carry it in their pockets. And you try 15 cars in the course of a night, you may get one of them that someone left it and it starts right up for you.
I'm always
Get
amazed if
stolen
I
car.
stop at a convenience store to go get milk and I walk by a car. There's no one in the car, but the car is running.
Right. That's illegal in Rhode Island.
It is?
Yes, it is.
When you leave your car, you have to
Yes,
shut it off?
unattended, unless you have a remote start that will disable it
Okay.
as soon as you try to put it in drive or hit the brake or anything like that. But yeah, to leave the keys in the ignition or the fob in the car.
I didn't
running,
realize
yes,
that.
yes.
Was against
Civil
the law.
infraction. Yes.
Okay.
Like a speeding ticket.
See, what I've always wanted to do, and won't, but...
Take
would-
off in that car.
No, just move it to another parking spot. But I would initially get caught, and now it looks like I'm stealing the car.
Yes.
Technically, I probably am. So I don't do this. But I said, wouldn't that be funny? We're going to move it from this space to this space, and when they come out of the store, where's my car? How did it get over there? Kind
Right.
of thing. How
Yeah.
great would that be?
Oh, we've had stolen car reports where people forgot where they parked the car the night before, and
Have they? And they
yes,
report it stolen?
They reported stolen, only to be found, a day later. But
And they say,
You know,
oh, that's
I-
where I left it?
I see elderly people that store in Uxbridge, in fact, frequently where they walk out of the store and don't know where their car is. And I can see it in their face. And I'm in my car, and I'm like,
It's over there.
I drive over, put my window down. What kind of car do you have? It's a brown Toyota. I don't know where I parked it. I'm like, okay, let me go look for it. Stay right here, and I'll drive around, find her a
Yeah.
car. And that's, yeah,
Sometimes I see you, Sue.
it happens. But I try, I know what, my mother-in-law had Alzheimer's, and you forget so many things. So when
Yeah.
I see it's an older person, I try to help rather than embarrass, and we
Oh,
make
sure.
joke of it.
a
So.
good thing in a case like that is a lot of them the key fobs. You
Well,
can hit
that's
the
what they
horn
do.
and,
I've
like,
Hit the
seen
horn,
them,
yeah,
but
the
yeah,
lights.
you can kind of see where
But
it's
they're
coming
old.
from.
They could have hearing problems.
They can hit it and you can find it.
It's like, I'll go find your car.
I know we've talked to the chief about this in the past, but the good thing is those flashing lights at the crosswalks that we have around the city seem to be working out very well.
Very
if they're
well.
used.
If they're used
they're
is my
used,
key word,
that
because
is
I've
key.
seen one in particular
Not
across the street
used.
from a school, not going to say where, next to the stadium. And it was
A student?
no,
Oh, okay.
and the button was not hit. And the way that sun shines sometimes, very dangerous. I was
Yeah.
at the stop myself, and you have to use the button.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not speaking to any specific cases, but pedestrians need to realize that don't just assume that the driver sees you.
Oh, no.
They don't assume that the driver does not see you when you're
Yeah,
crossing
that's the
street,
biggest
so-
problem. It happened right on Main Street when that person was crossing the street, car coming up, and that light just coming at you, and you can't see, and hit the woman.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
think one of them unfortunately passed, but yeah, you can't see, and they can't assume we can.
No.
When Chief Oates was here maybe a month or so ago, he mentioned there's been and maybe you've seen this, Captain, that there's been an uptick when you are stopped at a green light. I'm sorry, stopped at the red light, and it turns green. You might not want to go right away. Check that street because people are racing through the red lights now.
Absolutely. Especially with one-way streets where
Yeah.
people tend not to look in the opposite direction. The traffic is approaching from the left.
Yeah.
People look to the left, but pedestrians are walking up from the right.
From the right,
And,
yeah.
we've seen that before as well. So, check both directions.
Gotta be careful
before you
out
pull
there.
out. You really do.
Yeah.
And for the pedestrians, just don't assume that
The car's gonna
driver
wait
see-
for you.
Yeah, I see some young people just sauntering across the street. Cars will stop for me.
Oh, yeah.
Traffic will stop, and someone could be distracted behind the wheel and not see them.
Right. All right, we're going to take another break here on the Coffee and program. So, Robert, I think it's time for a second message from your law office, please.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. The second recent Rhode Island Supreme Court case I'd like to discuss with you this morning involves a plaintiff's claim for entitlement to a new trial following a jury verdict in a civil case. The case is known as Magarelli versus the Town of Johnston and arose as a result of a complaint for injuries sustained in a slip and fall case. After trial on the matter, the jury returned a verdict which found the town not liable for the injuries suffered by the plaintiff. At the conclusion of the plaintiff's evidence, the defendant had moved that the claim was should be dismissed because the plaintiff had not presented evidence of the applicable standard of care which should have been imposed on the defendant. The plaintiff objected and offered his own motion for judgment as a matter of law. The trial justice reserved her decision on the two motions, and the defense thereafter rested without presenting any evidence and reviewed its new motion for a new judgment as a matter of law. The issue went to the jury, which found a verdict in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff filed a motion for a new trial, arguing that the trial justice improperly tasked the jury with determining whether or not the defendant owed a duty of care to the plaintiff, and that the trial justice referenced to a preponderance of the evidence rather than a fair preponderance of the evidence, and trial justice told the jury that the expert testimony was required to support the plaintiff's claim. The Supreme Court ruled that in setting forth the negligence claim, the plaintiff must establish a legally cognizable duty owed by the defendant to the plaintiff, and a breach of that duty and the proximate causation thereof, which resulted in injury and actual loss and damages. The court determined that the trial justice had clearly enunciated that element. The court then went on to review the missing word fair. The court noted that the attorney for the plaintiff did not object to the wording at the time that the verdict form was presented to the jury, despite an opportunity to do so, and a litigant cannot raise an objection or advance a new theory on appeal if it is not raised before the trial court. Consequently, the Supreme Court refused to order a new trial for the plaintiff. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please call my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer: the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob, thanks. And the Coffee and program will continue. Please stick around.
Parents and grandparents of 8th and 9th grade students, do you want to help your child get a jump on their career? Do you want to help them earn college credits, real-world work experience, and industry certification, all while they're in high school, all while working with award-winning teachers in a fun and engaging environment? Then bring your child to the Woonsocket Area Career and Technical School Open House, Thursday, November 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. Meet our students and teachers and check out our 14 programs, including automotive, biotechnology, computer science P-Tech, child studies, culinary arts, construction technology, digital media, graphic arts, health careers, hospitality, plus our 4 new programs starting in the fall: marketing for social media, law academy, pre-engineering and robotics, theater and performing arts. Did you know that our computer science program is a P-Tech program? P-Tech allows your child to earn an associate's degree in computer science while in high school for free. No matter where you live, you can come to our school for free. There's something for everyone at Woonsocket Area Career and Technical Center. Come check us out this Thursday. Our address is 400 Aylesworth Avenue in Woonsocket.
Hi, everyone. This is Bill Schneck with the Circle Laurier Club and past president of the Woonsocket Lions Club. On Friday, December 1st, the Circle Laurier will be hosting an all-you-can-eat beer and dynamite to benefit the 2023 Milk Fund Appeal. The price is $15 a person, and it runs from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Circle Laurier, located at 165 School Street here in Woonsocket. Joining me will be Katrina LaPierre. Katrina, tell us about this night's events, please.
Thanks, Bill. I'm excited for the Milk Fund kickoff. We have music by Woonsocket's finest DJ, Buddy D, to get us in the holiday spirit. Please join our Facebook group, Milk Fund, to see our raffles and silent auction items. New things are added daily. Let me tell you about a couple of auction items. We have a $250 K's gift certificate donated by Dave and Donna LaHoose, and we have lunch with the judge, Rhode Island's famous and America's favorite Judge Frank Caprio. Details are on our Facebook group page. We look forward to seeing you on December 1st.
Tickets will be available at both radio stations here in the city, as well as at Circle Laurier the night of the event, December 1st.
It is Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Bob Lauder, Sue Tessier-McKenzie, and Captain John Picard from the Woonsocket Police Department. We're going to get back to the captain in just a minute, talk about the toy drive. This is an amusing little story. You hear about it every once in a while where an election is coming up and someone decides they didn't get onto the ballot, so they start a write-in campaign to be on whatever office, and they usually don't make it. Well, Clifton, Virginia, A man started a write-in campaign. He wanted to be mayor, and he won
Jeez.
by 5 votes.
No.
Whoa.
Only 5. Yep. The current mayor down there had been the mayor of Clifton, Virginia, for 12 years, and I don't know. I guess no one was running against him, so this guy decided to start his write-in campaign. Now, you would think, with it being so close, well, we'll do a recount. Mm-hmm. Well, no. Even though it's a close race, the election doesn't qualify for a recount because of the small overall number of voters. So what
There
do
are
you?
only 6 voters.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Maybe 50 people showed up to vote. Well, we could tell pretty easily.
Well, if the original,
What the count
if
is.
the mayor was running for re-election and he thought he was unopposed, I can see that a lot of his supporters probably felt the same way, that wasn't necessary to go to the polls.
It's the wrong way to think.
Whoa.
Always the wrong way to think.
Yes. And if you think your vote don't count, look at this. 5 votes. 5 votes separation.
I went to school in Virginia, but I can't remember where Clifton was.
How about Fairfax County?
Up near Washington. Okay.
It is.
No, far away from where I was.
Where you were? Okay.
I was in the Shenandoah Valley, Rockbridge County.
And this guy, as his full-time job, he owns an ice cream shop.
Okay.
So, well, it's the slow season.
Slow season.
So I got time to be down at City Hall.
Gee.
Well, congratulations to Tom Peterson down there in Clifton, Virginia. Wins by 5 votes.
Next time you and I go to the polls, JoeCalli.
They would throw it out because I'm not a resident. I immediately cannot be
That's right.
in. So I can't be mayor. I can't be on the city council. I can't be on the school committee.
Darn.
Sorry.
We could put a tent in the backyard. And
I could. I could stay with you, Bob. I set up residency with you. How's that sound?
that sounds great from my family's point of view and my brother-in-law's point of view, but I think I'd resent having to live in the garage.
Well, anyway, Captain John Picard, the Woonsocket Police Department toy drive, when does it officially start? Or has it?
The toy drive has officially started.
Oh, okay, great. So tell us about the next drive that's coming up.
The big event is on the 25th of November from 10 to 2 at St. Joe's Church. That's at 1210 Mendon Road in Woonsocket, right at the intersection of Cass and Cumberland. Santa will be there, I want to say, from 12 to 1.
There's a whole bazaar going on that
There is
day,
a whole
right then.
bazaar. There are raffles. There is everything. So it's good fun. So urge everyone to come up there. That's 10 to 2 on the 25th of November. The second event will be at the Ogier Family House, 329 Wood Avenue, Woonsocket. That's Sunday, December 10th from 4 to 7 p.m.
All right, and there'll be on the one on November 25th, plenty of yourself and other officers collecting that day.
There will be at both events. There'll be a cadre of police officers.
Ooh, good word, cadre.
Police, right, and police cars. So if you're driving by and you see it, you could run to Ollie's or
There you go, Ocean State
Job Lot, pick up some toys, stop by. But we accept toys 24/7 at the Woonsocket Police Department, and we will.
And just make sure they're new.
New toys,
Yeah,
unwrapped
that's
as well.
important, yep.
Yes, and we'll probably continue accepting toys at the police department until mid-December.
And if anyone's looking to get on the list to receive a toy for their children,
Yes.
What do they need to do?
Woonsocket Police Department website. You'll find a link that'll bring you to the application form. Fill it out. Require identification to prove city residency. And
You're gonna walk it in, right?
Walk into the police station, drop it off. Again, this is available to children up to 12 years old.
That's important.
Who are city residents.
All right. So Santa will be there on November 25th. Will the K9 for the police department be there?
We can see if he'll stop by. If he's working.
Kids love seeing the dog.
I love seeing the canines.
Well, we can bring him by.
I do. I love them.
We'll have him stop by.
Oh, that'll be great. That's always fun. Does the K9 at Woonsocket Police are they trained to sniff out drugs or just go after perpetrators?
Yes.
Both? Okay.
Both.
Great.
Their two dogs have different
Capabilities?
functions and
Oh, okay.
capabilities. Our newest dog is a bomb and explosives,
wow.
gunpowder residue dog. That's a young dog, Maverick.
Maverick, okay.
He works pretty much day shift, and he'll do a lot of stuff like that. The other dog is Recon. He works nights. He does drugs, apprehension, tracking. That dog does a lot of tracking. So we kind of cover all our bases
Good.
with 2 dogs, and they do a ton of the public relations part for the police department because, like you said, everyone loves the dog.
Oh, everyone loves the dogs. They come on when they see them, and then when they're not working, they're just sitting there. But people love to go pet the dogs and see how,
They're
see how nice
friendly
they
too.
Are.
Yeah.
Yes, they
we
are.
had them at a lot of trunk or treat events this
Yeah.
year, and everyone just loves to see them.
All right, great. All right, we've come to the end of the program. We thank you very much for listening. Captain John Picard from the Woonsocket Police Department, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
All right, it's been terrific. And Sue Tessier-McKenzie, thanks for the update on how the whole parole board works here in the state of Rhode Island. So,
Have a great day, and for those I don't speak to, have a happy Thanksgiving.
all right, very good. And Bob Lauder, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for providing me the 3 questions, 3 statements, rather, to cover my butt. Thank you.
It worked out well for you last year.
Last year was great.
So we'll see how it goes this year. All right, this is Joe Callahan. Have yourself a wonderful day. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do You Remember's coming your way at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.